You are listening to Maximum Pew Pew, an actual play RPG podcast. Maximum Pew Pew follows continuous storylines and are meant to be enjoyed from the beginning. This episode contains spoilers for the Dead Sun's Adventure Path published by Paizo Incorporated. Gameplay segments may contain mature themes and adult language. In this episode, the party arbitrates the conflicting claims of the Hardscrabble Collective and Astral Extractions. You visited the Eoxian diplomat, a gentleman by the name of Givalarisk Nor, who had been hired as a mediator to determine what to do with the drift rock that was towed in by the Acreon, a ship owned by the Hardscrabble Collective. That, let's see here, that Astral Extraction also believes they have a claim to.
Yes.
Now, Gevalarsk will tell you that they have arranged for a ship be made available to you tomorrow morning. So until then, you can make whatever preparations. I know that there was a lot of stuff to be sold and any purchases you may have made during the interim. But that will not happen until tomorrow. In addition to the determining what happened on the Acreon and determining what the drift rock actually is, he had given you a additional mission, should you choose to accept it, a piece of a package that was on the Acreon that was destined to be delivered to him, that is now somewhat up in the air, considering the ship is not allowed to come into station. So, any questions to get caught up on that? Anything to clarify?
He gave us a package. He wants us to go over there.
It was supposed to be delivered to him, but right now it's basically stuck in customs.
Okay. Because it's on the ship?
Right.
Yes.
Right. And the ship's not responding.
Correct, it's derelict.
And we find ourselves in the middle of a kind of corporate feud.
Correct.
Give or take.
Yeah, and we're now working for the third party who's trying to negotiate that.
Right, he's trying to negotiate that, but also trying to get,
his stuff
off that boat.
He's not an completely impartial third party.
Right. And we have to secure a ship, or he's providing us with, a little bucket to get over to?
He is providing a ship tomorrow morning.
Right.
That will get
And
you.
we had the night to, buy gear, hang out,
Yeah,
sleep.
we did a lot of that last time, didn't we?
Right. So
yeah, because we tallied up all the gold and all the credits and everything.
Right.
So, one thing I'll say, what is everybody's, how much XP does everybody need to level?
And what is it, 1,000?
950.
Yeah, we're all at 950.
Is it
So
1,000?
overnight we're here hunting kobolds
13.
in the Undercity.
Can look.
Yeah, really.
Advancement is on
It's you'll have to bear with me a moment. I'm on a CR 48 here, and it is slow as molasses.
that's a pretty tough encounter. 1,300. And you're at 950?
Yeah.
So we'd need
So
350?
350 times 4 is 1,400 XP.
Okay.
Because I've been giving out the party XP.
All right.
So whoever's tracking that, once we hit 1,400,
We're just collecting those chits you hand out, and then after we do that, we just we if there's anything super apparent,
yeah.
but if there was general stuff, I just made little organized piles.
No, that's perfectly all right. All I want to get at is
When we hit that amount of XP,
just
I need to be level up.
Yep, flag me.
Ding.
And then
that is 14 what?
1,400.
Get the final
That's the
fantasy
number you're
level
looking
up.
for. Everyone was at 950.
Okay.
So 350 times 4 is 1,400.
level 2 patch.
Yep.
Level 2 patch.
I also brought a level 2 patch.
All right.
I did not, but
I'm just going to erase
I
and
don't
add
get
the numbers. I know what I'm
anything.
adding.
I've already plotted out what I'm going to get.
Yeah, operatives get all their cool stuff at odds, with the exception of like tricks. But
Yeah, I get my first trick, but
Yeah, I just get a mechanic trick and I already chose it. So.
okay, so while you were waiting for the next day to occur, you all collectively receive a missive from your Pathfinder contact. Is it Chiskisk?
bless you.
Yeah, Chiskisk. Stating that a Miss Joss from the organization Astral Extractions has asked for the pleasure of your company
Okay.
All right. Well, let's provide him with that company.
Yeah, let's provide him with this company.
Okay. So you guys want to go to Astral Extractions?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they? Oh, okay. Does our Pathfinder contact? Why are they asking for us? Do they know we're involved?
Yes, I'm pretty sure they know you're involved. They said it had something to do with arbitration. They didn't have your personal contact information, so they went through me.
Okay.
Okay.
We thought you would like to be aware. What you do with this information is up to you.
And we can take a look.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay. So you go to Astral Extractions.
Now, Astral Extractions was the bar.
Astral Extractions was aligned with the
Were they the miners?
Downside.
They were the minor, like the third.
Hard Scrabble Collective was the miners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Astral
this is
Extractions is the corporation.
all right.
It's the
So we're
evil
going to go talk to
corporation.
Don
Okay.
Blankenship.
Okay.
That's a deep cut.
I saw the
You can Google that,
commercial
folks,
that,
and
he's
we'll-
running for Senate, and now just
Please
it
don't.
made me
Don't Google that. Just
Yeah.
made me
Don't-
throw up in my mouth.
Yeah,
Don't Google Don Blankenship because
and it would be sad if people on the internet started DDoSing his campaign site.
it would be a shame
It would be.
if someone were to look up this actual criminal that wants to run for the Senate. An overt criminal responsible for the murder of people.
God.
I just want to put this out there. I'm playing Starfinder today because I want to be a little less sad. I'm going to be sad about events in game, but that's fine.
I
just want to be.
apologize.
I just want to be a little less sad.
I was just looking,
a little
just
less.
looking to make the game a little real for people.
I want to get the PCs in the mood for what they're dealing with.
Zanka is a bus driver.
Yes.
Okay? You don't need to help Zanka get in the mood of what has my life become.
So, the meeting is at the corporate headquarters of Astral Extractions in Blue Rise Tower.
Okay.
You go up to one of the sort of middle floors. They're not that important.
Right,
but,
right.
You are met by a receptionist who ushers you into an office. The office is pretty well appointed, and a Lashunta corporate professional named Miss Joss warmly greets you and thanks you for agreeing to meet. Thank you for coming. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to Astral Extractions and speak with you about the current affairs affecting the drift rock that is currently up in space. I want to give you a better sense of our corporate philosophy and how that informs our business dealings. She asks everyone to take a seat, and she takes a remote, and a little view screen kind of pops down from the ceiling. And
She's so retro with her
She,
view screen instead of holograms. Like, look at that shit.
she proceeds with
We awkwardly sit for 2 minutes.
a
as it
slickly so basically, and then after
Gives me
fumbling
time
with
to climb up on top of
PowerPoint
the
and getting
chair,
it to
too.
work, and And you say like F5 like 3 times, so like, just hit F5. F5. Oh, thank you. She begins with a slickly produced marketing presentation that highlights Astral Extraction's efforts in discovering, developing, and managing much-needed natural resources from across the galaxy and selling them in the Pact Worlds. Sense Motive doesn't exist now, does it? What's that?
Here's my dude.
Is it still Sense Motive?
Sense Motive's on there.
Yeah, Sense Motive's
I forget when you have to bounce between 2 games made by the same.
So they're super similar, but
I
just
was-
different enough to be confusing.
Really relieved looking at the schedule of what I'm running for DFS. It's like all kinds of Starfinder.
Yeah, unlike me, it's all kinds of
Every other
Pathfinder.
week,
So, yeah, if anyone's got like a Sense Motive,
That'll be a 17.
17.
That'll be a 6.
A 6.
She seems pretty convincing to me.
I don't trust anything that starts with a corporate
15.
recruiting video.
15.
Right.
Yeah, like when I worked at the methadone clinic and employee lounge was full of, we swear to God we're not a money-grubbing corporation, we actually care about our clients propaganda.
Corporate training video is how I got my last job.
Oh, that's like at GameStop. After the store closes, our TV switches to commercials that are for the employees, and it feels like they're just slowly trying to brainwash
Oh my
us.
god.
Wow.
Love the GameStop. Be the
That's
game.
amazing. Spliced frames in, like, obey. Upsell.
Oh my god.
Power up card.
You know,
Oh man, that's the
my
truth.
first job ever was working for Babbage's back when it was new. And their corporate philosophy was, let's make a video game store and make it look like Deb. Not making that up.
Oh god.
And it's just been traumatic because as terrible as it was then, it's, you know, then it got bought out by GameStop and it's just become more and more terrible
Oh, it's
and awful
bad.
as time goes by. They're not even wanting to buy product anymore. They're just wanting to keep reselling what they've already sold.
They make more money that way. But, you know, that's another episode right there. You
Yeah.
two are able to sense that, you know, this presentation doesn't represent the whole truth. I mean, this is basically marketing material for investors and the public.
Yeah, I'm ready to invest
But
with
there's
my sense of
nothing
6.
that there's
Right.
nothing outright false about it. It just
Put your wallet
feels
back.
See, if all of you here at the table today is willing to invest in this hotel room, you can each use it 3 days out of the year.
Have you done this before?
Oh man.
hotel room timeshares. It's great. So Miss Joss will also recount details of the company's contract with the Hardscrabble Collective. Essentially, the Acreon was hired to prospect for unclaimed, unexploited mineral resources on behalf of Astral Extractions, which would then hold all rights and claims to those discoveries. So Astral Extractions paid the Hardscrabble Collective to do prospecting, collect data, give them the data. That was the job. And Miss Joss states that Astral Extraction simply wants what their contract gives them rights to. The Acreon found the drift rock, an unclaimed, unexploited mineral resource as defined in the contract while working for Astral Extractions, so rights to the asteroid belong to the company.
Cena will like raise her hand after she's like tuned out a little bit and is starting to get annoyed, and she's sitting there pondering whether it's socially acceptable to start polishing her gun in the middle of a corporate meeting. So she'll like, rather than do that, she will raise her hand.
Yes.
Can we have a copy of that contract?
Why, sure.
All right.
She'll type in a few things on a keypad at her desk. A few moments later, a secretary will come in with printed copies.
Wow.
Of,
Not just the electronics are retro.
So I'm going to take up, yeah, right. I'm gonna pull up their like 1990
They wanna
PDF
impress.
file on my
What?
like
they want to
personal
impress, you know. Here's
like
Hey,
my
this is
personal
like- it's like
computer
resume
device,
paper.
and I'm gonna hit
paper can be
Control
burned.
F. It's like I don't need to be a fancy computer user to find whether they're like full of crap. All I need to do is like digital copy, Control F.
So I'm just going to
Mineral
flip through
rights.
and not going to have this conversation here. But I'm like, I know that the mission doesn't start until the team is on the ground, and it ends when the extraction happens. Although extraction, in my sense, is obviously different than yours. So I'm going to browse through this, looking for basically the terms as to whether or not flying back and forth counts as part of the mission.
Okay. And you may also get the impression it's being printed because it makes it a little bit more difficult to
read.
Analyze and stuff.
Right.
So
I didn't exactly grow up wealthy. This is not my first encounter with paper.
The contract basically states Astral Extractions has hired the Hardscrabble Collective, who owns the Acreon, to do some prospecting and provide that data about unexplored and untapped resources. Provide that back to Astral Extractions.
All
Essentially, what the
Does it only indicate
Like
that
what-
their contract covers data about it?
you don't see anything that suggests otherwise. It appears to be that they are giving, data and information.
So
There's no actual physical extraction
okay.
covered in the contract.
Right, so I
But-
feel
but-
like that
but-
should just stop it
But
right here.
but the intent is that the data would also mean that because they found it, they also gave up the rights to extract what they find.
That's what they're pitching.
Yeah. Okay. But it's not quite so.
But it's not outlined
perfect.
in the paper.
And does it say which particular regions of space they're supposed to be?
Not in particular. I think this was. It may in the actual content, but it's not really the geography.
Is there
of the
any
claim?
with not being like the most,
It might be in
contract
diaspora actually in that area.
the contract savvy person, but is there anything in the contract that indicates that information on potential valuable mineral resources cannot be acted upon by the miners?
Yeah, if it physically points them out
Right,
as
like
not able
like you can
to
say,
mine
hey,
it.
we want all this mineral information, but unless your contract says we want it, and if you find like a vein of gold, you're not allowed to dig it. We just want the information so we can send our own miners to dig it. Then
I think the drift rock is kind of an issue because it's less like we found this and more like, hey, look, it followed us home.
right, but it's to me like the real
I see what you're
legal
saying.
the real
The,
legal claims is like, because if like I'm a surveyor and you're paying me to be a surveyor and like you don't actually have any legal claim to anything, and it's kind of a finders keepers law. You know what I mean? Like I'll tell you what I
think
saw.
it's just vague enough is the reason they're finding it.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
vague, and you get the impression that probably the more valuable the thing they find, the better they are probably going to get paid.
Okay.
So, it's instead of having to do the work of the mining, you find the stuff and you make a percentage, and then Astral Extractions does the actual work and makes
Right.
the full profit and all
Okay.
that. So, it wouldn't make much sense for them to. Not report
Well, no.
the gold vein.
Well, no,
when it makes the money to report.
But what I am saying is kind of like, if their contract doesn't specifically say you're not allowed to touch the things you're reporting to us, because I could be like, hey, we found all this gold, but we dug it up, so it's not there anymore.
But here's another thing. They
Must
sent
have
them to
been
survey
pirates.
something
I think I've
else,
seen
and the
that
drift
anime.
rock they just
Right.
found in space,
know?
right?
Potentially,
Yeah, because the drift rock wasn't part of the contract.
Yeah, it
was
followed. No, it followed them through the drift most likely.
Right.
Whenever
What happens
they-
is they went through the drift to get back, and when they exited the drift rock was all like, hey, I'm here too.
Yeah, it's probably some piece of an elemental plane or something.
But it's
Maybe
like following them is the thing.
Well, I get the impression it was being
was tethered.
towed. Yeah, it was towed.
There's two very heavy-duty tethers.
Oh, did they find it en route in the drift?
It's unknown.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
that's
the
probably
ship,
why.
nobody-
That's
Well,
probably,
Maybe they
what's the
should.
contract cover? Because they're wanting information. What is it that they're wanting the information?
If you read it
about?
literally, the contract covers information
Okay.
about.
this is the problem with like just boilerplate here, sign the standard contract.
Right. There's
It's like
so
somebody forgot to fill in the blank.
it seems like there's implied stuff.
This is just a situation that wasn't
And if
accounted
you're a
for.
large corporation with money for lawyers, you can fight and say that your contract says anything.
Yeah, because I mean,
get that.
honestly, it doesn't matter what the contract says or what it doesn't. What matters is who can afford the best lawyers to
Well, yeah.
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 defend it.
And part of it is, you've been asked to arbitrate to
Right.
gather the information.
Something
so.
tells me, though, that if that was just a matter that, here is this asteroid that followed us that was full of platinum, they probably just would have recorded its location and sold it, because the collective aren't really geared for extraction. So it tells me that there's probably something else on this that didn't fall under the contract.
Right.
That maybe this thing had other value.
So here's a bigger question, and I don't know if we're missing it or if I'm just being simple here.
By the way, this conversation, I assume that we're not having it in front of corporate lady.
I assume that you are not having it in front of the corporate lady. That being said, if anyone else has anything to say to her, you could probably excuse yourselves and...
Well,
So, I mean, here's the question I have. Why are you getting a hold of us?
Because you were involved with the arbitration, and I wanted to... Astral Extractions wants to present to you, our side.
Okay, so you're just presenting your side of the argument.
Correct, as well as the facts presented in the contract.
Okay. Well, I mean, we've got a copy of the contract. We're not really lawyers, but we can
we
can go
work
through
for
it.
one.
We do. Wait a second. We do. We work for one.
Yes.
Yeah, and ultimately, we appreciate your viewpoint on this, but ultimately, our mission is largely just going to be that of data collection and passing it over through the process.
And I wish you the best on that endeavor.
I mean, we'll take whatever information that you happen to have. To
Yeah,
give
if
us,
you have
but-
any, like for example, if there are things that are not covered in this contract, such as proposed navigation charts or what was, the flight plans or whatever that might have been filed prior to the ship leaving, we would be interested in seeing that.
Well, I believe you would probably have to speak with the Hardscrabble Collective
Okay, so that
for
so you're
those
telling me
specifics.
that they just have an open contract with you and they go looking for wherever they're looking, and there's not really any predefined agreement as to
This
like what
particular
region of
contract
space?
looked like the diaspora, like this particular
Okay.
job. Astral Extraction. This is out of character. Astral Extractions was interested in claims in the diaspora.
I
The
see.
contract covered the diaspora.
Gotcha. Okay.
right.
But, well, I wish you luck, and please know that we're always looking for freelancers that are interested in lucrative employment opportunities.
I understand.
That sounded dirty.
Well, thank you very much. Have a pleasant day and good luck.
All right, so now we're going to
Then
go.
that conversation
Yeah,
happens.
now we're going to go find some
Right.
some like greasy spoon restaurant, some George Lucas style space diner, and have this argument.
Yeah, that's cool.
With some cantina music.
So you guys go to the restaurant?
Yeah.
Just eat? Okay. Let's see here. Zinka, you get a call from an unknown number.
Oh. Okay. I guess I will step outside and answer the phone.
Okay. It's a voice unknown to you. Hi, is this Zinka?
Depends on who's asking.
Yeah, my name is Otal. Jabaxa gave me this number.
Okay.
Little small rat folk guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm with the Hardscrabble Collective, and I heard that you guys took care of some of the issues that were happening in the down low, and Jabaxa spoke really highly of you guys, and he didn't seem to think it would be a problem to give me your number, but I just wanted to talk with you guys. I heard that you were going to be involved with taking a look at the Acreon, and we lost some good people up there, and just wanted to speak with you about it.
Well,
That's okay.
we've been waiting on your phone call. We are going to be part of the arbitration team. If you've got any information for us to be able to contribute, we'd be more than happy to take a look at it.
Oh, excellent. Can we pick you up? The docks?
Sure.
Excellent. Once we get the details, we'll send you which dock.
Oh, okay.
We gotta. Well, I'll send a ship right now. If that's not too soon.
We'll be waiting.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I feel like the awkwardness is probably about accurate.
He hangs up.
Never done this before. What am I doing? What is any of this? What is my life? Okay. All right. So after hanging up, I will probably go ahead and we'll go ahead back into the diner, and I'll relay the contents or lack thereof of the phone call to the rest of the group.
Okay. A few moments later, you'll get a itinerary of what Absalom Station says they're going to be landing at to pick you up. It's going to be about 45 minutes. You have plenty of time to finish your meal and get there.
Good, because I just ordered pie.
A whole one or just
One whole pie.
a slipper?
Look, I'm a halfling. At least 2 slices will be fine.
I was going to say, the pie might be bigger than you.
I have a high metabolism.
Fair. Fair.
Halflings are that small because they burn the candle at both ends.
Yes.
They're 40% mitochondria.
That's my headcanon now.
We broke him, guys. We broke
It's not hard.
We did
It's
it.
so easy.
You, any business before you go to the dock? That's
I can't think of anything offhand.
Not really.
cool. You guys go to the dock. A gentleman, very, sort of dirty work clothes, meets you there. Zinka? Ah, these people?
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
Okay. Thank you.
You take a short trip up to the Armada, which is kind of the flotilla that circles Absalom Station, to a ship called the Dust Runner. As you dock, you are met by a red-skinned Acatonian. You recognize the voice. It's Otal. He introduces himself as Captain Otal Cerisi, and sort of the unofficial spokesman for the Hardscrabble Collective. His ship is very, very Spartan in its appointment. It's very utilitarian, very plain. One of the first things he wants to do, however, is give you a tour. He's very proud of his ship. After showing you the little areas, I mean, there's barely a bed there. He has like a bedroll, not even like a proper bed, like in his bedroom. It's very sparsely appointed. He will invite everyone to the galley, where he's had hot cups of black coffee brewing. Pours everyone a cup.
Is it real?
Is it real?
This is one of the few luxuries that he's got on this ship. It is.
Oh my God.
Can't afford a mattress, but by God, we can afford coffee beans.
Well, that's why you
Now
can't
it-
afford a mattress. Have you seen the
Now,
price of coffee?
it might be a leveled scoop, maybe not a heaping scoop, but
No.
it's still black coffee.
I have not seen real coffee since I left home.
Well, thank you for coming up here, meeting with us. We heard that Absalom Station's finally looking into what happened to our ship, our crew, what happened on that rock. We haven't been able to go up there. They haven't allowed us. And it's been a very emotional time, considering that none of the crew have contacted us since this whole ordeal, so we're very happy to have somebody go up there and check on it. You know, we hate dealing with groups like Astral Extractions, but they pay too well for us to ignore. You know, mining is not an easy job. It is not a lucrative job. So when someone says, find a prospect and we'll pay you for the information, it's very hard to turn that down, especially with the amount of money that they offer. But, you know, as a result, we get exploited a lot because of it. We have to protect ourselves however we can. This is just another example of how big corporations are trying to abuse their power and get away with something that doesn't belong to them. So, what questions could I answer for you all about?
Why weren't you allowed to, like, send anyone out to your own ship if it's your property?
Because Astral Extractions laid claim to it, said that it was their property. Of course, we countered, and now Absalom Station says neither of us can go over there pending investigation. From what I can tell, you are the only group that's going to be allowed up there.
Like, what's the legal precedent that allowed to claim ownership of the ship? I understand, like, the rock itself.
Astral Extractions claims that because the ship contains the prospecting data, they too have access to that, claiming that it's some sort of storage device or something, at least until...
So they just got the judge to say no one can look at it until we decide.
Right.
Not quite. It almost sounds like...
Well, there's also... A ship arriving with no crew is suspicious. I get that. I understand that.
Are we sure that there's no crew?
Well,
they
that's
haven't
true,
held us back.
Nobody's responded.
We've tried every public,
anything.
private channel, personal numbers. We've done everything.
But it's possible that there are people alive on the ship, maybe injured or incapacitated in some way.
It's entirely possible, but it's been
regardless.
Yeah,
they're not capable of responding.
Right. I get that.
No. I mean, I guess I
Seems
imagine
outrageous
also
that a
that
rescue team couldn't
they
be
did
sent.
they might this was done to keep salvage law from stealing stuff from either of you.
Well, we were told that scans for life signs were done, but those all came back negative.
Essentially, the ship was given a black tag.
Well, we're not unsympathetic. I mean, I know what it's like to live on your ship. It's that ship is not just the ship; it's the people that live in it. It's the livelihoods, and it's the everything that ship could have done while it's sitting there in orbit. So, when was your last contact with these guys, with the crew? I mean, did they? I assume that this drift rock is part of the significance. Did you have any information from them, or did they contact you when they send any kind of messaging?
Essentially, when they left, communications take so long in the drift. It just took a very long time to get any type of communication. So when they left was really the last time we heard from them. We don't know anything about what they hauled or anything. By the time they sent a message, they would have beat the message here, essentially, so why bother?
So the thing is we don't know what has happened on that ship. Anything and everything that's happened is on that ship.
I'm assuming the ship will have a black box.
It'll have computers, yes. Hopefully, someone will have recorded some information.
Is there any type of like internal monitoring system, like a security system or something like that?
Yes, the acronym will have internal security.
Okay.
And do you have plans, deck plans?
That'd actually be a really good idea since we're going to be going there. It'd be really good to know the layout.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll pull that up and send it to computers, so you'll have the full map revealed when it becomes relevant.
Yay, technology.
Question. Astral gave us a copy of the contract.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have a copy of the contract as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Pulls it up on his.
Would you mind if we have a copy of that?
Sure.
Oh, look at that.
Hey, it's in my computer.
He makes he quarters it, and he's
Now we got to find like a pre-gap document scanner to turn this paper document into a digital file.
you. Between all of you, you have the technology to put this through an OCR.
All right.
There's, with the exception of a few, typographical anomalies, because OCRs will never be perfect. It doesn't matter how long. There's really no difference between these contracts. The version Astral Extractions gave you was not doctored.
Okay. I just kind of want to make sure that the versions
They just
are
didn't
in
want us to read
agreement.
it.
Right.
They didn't want to make it easy.
All right. Well,
Is there any other information that you can tell us about the Acreon itself?
Not really. I mean, it was another mighty ship. It had internal defenses. Really nothing more than what the blueprints,
Okay.
the ship plans will.
So that would list all of the internal defenses.
should.
Okay.
I can give you those as the relevant.
What can you tell us about the crew?
they were people.
Yeah, they were
Just
people.
like you and me. I don't know their
they were-
names, but I'm sure they had them.
You need to go back to empathy school.
If they didn't have last names. Wait, I don't have a last name.
There was we crewed about 8 people on the Acreon at the time.
Okay, so it had a crew of 8.
Yeah, give or take maybe one member, depending on what may have
Okay.
been going on at the time.
I assume he just sends us
The personal
a crew dossier that is
Yeah.
basically generic crew number 1 through 8.
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
it's absolutely out of date because everybody hates performance reviews.
Right.
Wow, these
There's
last 4 years
Adam,
of updates have been copied and
Brandon,
pasted.
Christy,
Yeah,
Dorothy,
generic crew number
Eric,
8.
Felicia,
That guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg,
The smart one.
and
the girl.
Helen.
The weird guy. Yeah, I see.
The one that sleeps in the engine room.
Yeah.
Creed.
The guy that never smiles. All right, I get it. I know these folks. I think I met them before.
Well, it sounds like you got all your archetypes covered.
Disillusioned post-war captain.
Yeah. Mr. PTSD, who happens to be in charge.
What a group of rascals.
Right.
Okay.
Well-
So, I mean, I can't think of anything else that we'd really need to know.
Okay.
Mainly that number is a good thing, because then that means we can possibly account for everybody.
As you're talking about the contract, he says, there was nothing in the contract that stated we couldn't bring something back with us.
Yeah, that's kind of how we felt about it.
Our thought was they wanted data. I don't think this physical object, which I don't believe came from the diaspora, is very strange. And obviously the last thing that my crew brought back, I don't see any reason. That's not data, that's actual
I'm agree.
I'm
something.
inclined to think that there's something unusual about that rock other than just minerals. Because, I mean, if it was just another mineral-carrying asteroid, there would be no reason not to just log it and add it to your
I agree.
To your till.
You don't try to claim ownership of a whole ship over a
Yeah.
rock.
Well, you
and
also
that's-
don't. If you
and you
scan
don't-
20 asteroids of gold, precious metal number 6, platinum, other precious metal number 20, you don't just grab one and decide to bring it with you. You just put it in the log.
That's the claim they're making. They have no ownership of that ship. And they have no real claim on the physical product that we brought. But at this point, our crew, and they're like family.
No, you guys need closure, if nothing
Well, no,
else.
we get where you're coming from.
Well, I wish I could offer you more in the lines of meals. I kind of
Is there
operate
any
off
kind of
calf, so
This is very good, by the way.
so like okay.
Can I have another?
absolutely.
So I'm sure that like we're really just going to the ship and looking around. You know what I mean? I'm sure that there may or may not be any particular reason to go onto the asteroid itself. And it's a surveying ship,
Yes.
so it probably has like all the like mineral scanners and stuff, and anything could give us wouldn't necessarily be anything better or more precise than what's on that ship.
I wouldn't imagine. I don't know how you're getting up there, but it's got decent scanners.
Okay.
Primarily, the logs on the ship are going to be what's
Right.
giving us
What
all
I'm
our
what I'm
information.
thinking though is like if there would be anything like, maybe all it really does is scan for like chemical composition and things like that, and
It makes
like
this tremendous honking noise when you do it.
yeah, and maybe it just doesn't maybe they got that rock and it had some kind of like invasive life form on it or something that their scanners didn't pick up because they weren't calibrated to recognize things like that, because they were strictly like, what's this
Yeah,
rock
It
made
strikes
out
me
of?
that life
Inorganics.
signs would be an important thing to try to detect if you were just scanning for
Well-
mineral.
well,
Also, it
not-
doesn't have to make that honking noise either.
sorry,
No,
sorry.
no, and I get that.
Half
I'm
of
just
half of us play elite, and that's a
yeah,
joke.
that's
Programming limpid drone. Never mind.
We'll play that
cool.
game at some
Then
point.
let's go get on our bucket and head on out.
okay.
Yeah, because I don't think that they've really got any additional.
I mean,
information
both
for
of
us.
them, the company's all like, we want our money, and then the other guys are like, we just want to make sure our friends aren't dead. So if you could do that, that'd be great.
So, you guys.
All right, cool. We'll do that for you.
It seems that's why the legal system kind of got involved in this, is that there's definitely a lot of business going on.
You head back to your respective
We know our corporate
places
drones
where
are
you-
lying
where
to
you
us.
sleep. The next morning, you meet at the appropriate dock. You have been assigned. You've been asked to go to a actual private docking bay.
Well, we're all murdered
Fancy.
slowly, one by one.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Campaign over.
And it appears that
Each one of you
you're-
have to enter this decontamination chamber by yourself.
No, actually, the ship is already there, waiting for you. It is called Hippocampus.
Ooh.
That's a good name.
Oh, I
It
get it.
is an upgraded Ringworks Wanderer. And since I didn't think to actually provide this printed to anyone, my infinite wisdom,
Probably because we only encountered this ship once.
probably.
If I can hop on the internet.
Now everybody has a copy of it.
Oh, look at you. Being fancy.
Oh, I guess I could cast it. Well, no, not from...
No, it's in our little group chat. We all got a picture of it and stuff. Look at it
Perfect.
being so fancy.
Because
It's like
technology.
it's like we're in the future.
You know what, though? You had to push buttons. You couldn't just, like, point at us and swipe up.
I know, like quarter it and
Yeah.
swipe out. And, this is a good piece of information. Enhance.
Okay. Enhance is in Zoom is how you can tell you're actually in the future.
When it
right.
works.
Yeah, when
Enhance.
it,
Wow, that's really pixely. It was much better when I got it smaller.
I couldn't read it then either, but at least it wasn't this hot garbage.
that's why all procedural cop shows are science fiction.
Oh my god, yeah.
So, the Hippocampus is actually one of several shuttles that regularly ferry passengers and cargo between Absalom Station and visiting ships that are too large to dock or prefer to remain among the ships in the Armada. You will know that this looks like, or Zinka will know, I need to stop using you. That doesn't play well for...
That's great radio,
It
Jared.
doesn't play well for radio. Zinka will
Yes.
know that this was originally a Ringworks Wanderer. It's been heavily modified for station security. It looks like it also has some additional modifications that are just being finished, including what appears to be some retrofitted armor, defenses, shields, an improved power core and sensors, and a turret-mounted coil gun.
Look at that.
Those are not standard options.
So this has been turned from a bus into a Mad Max bus.
Yeah, it's been Mad Max a little bit.
You know what? That kind of fits your life now, bus driver.
Well, I wasn't hoping to fly an analogy today, but
It also appears that, unlike most shuttles, this appears to have lifeboat ports now as well.
And by lifeboats, you mean like individualized capsules? Because it's kind of, the whole ship is kind of the size of like half this room, probably.
Right. Yeah,
okay.
so it's... it is a small shuttle.
They expect us to possibly have risk of death on this.
Well,
it's kind of standard
you get
for any
an-
ship, really. Just
you get an
in case.
accompanying note with like the ship departure information that states that not sure what you may find up there. So
That's fair.
taking some
Whatever this rock is, it teleports people.
right. The impression you get is, since nobody knows what you may find up there, it's best to protect the arbitration team.
It is space. Space is dangerous. Everything in space is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
It's Australia.
Nothing about space is nice.
Space is made
What if
of...
all this isn't complicated at all, and it's just like an overly radiated rock that just killed the crew, and everybody's fighting over just a giant chunk of
Honestly?
Then I want shields and something I can blow up the rock with.
Honestly, I hope that's the case. Because
That's
then
the
it
easy
means that
solution.
things are going to be very simple.
You hope the rock that's so irradiated that it killed the crew of the ship with like
Through
advanced
metal.
shielding and stuff right attached to it, and we're gonna get ready to get on that ship. Like,
We
that's
just
your
fly
best
in and
case
it vaporizes
scenario. Is all like
That's
a
the
life full of painful cancer. Like,
Yes. Sounds good to me.
Okay.
you're like, it's better than being eaten.
So
If I had choices.
Space is scary.
this ship does have one notable absence, and that is there's no pilot or crew or anything.
Of course not.
Okay, so that means we're gonna have to fly this bucket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think this would have been pretty
Anyone
funny
have
if none
sense
of us had
motive?
chosen piloting.
Does anybody have a sense motive?
Not as like an actual skill, but
Thanks for playing last time.
3.
15.
Not this time.
6.
6.
Yeah, not good.
I have a +1.
Right.
You imagine there's no better way to remain unbiased than by not hiring someone on the station
Yeah,
to
they didn't want
fly you
anybody
here and
else
there.
on here.
Or to be bribed to leave us behind if they don't like what we find.
Right.
If
they don't find something
Given the
that's-
amount of death that's happened over this so far,
So would you like to step aboard the hippocampus?
sure.
Let's do it.
You step aboard the
Let's do it.
hippocampus. Title music provided by Overclocked Remix and created by CFX. Find more great classic game remixes at ocremix.com. Ambient music provided by Tabletop Audio. Original 10-minute ambiances and music for games and stories. Find out more at tabletopaudio.com.